Having processed the chronic disease data and the economic data, we'll now start building a Tableau data source. And I've opened up Tableau. Your startup screen will look a little different because you've been working on different workbooks than I have. I'm first going to upload the US chronic disease data, and since they are stored as a text file, .csv file, I select text here, and then navigate to where I stored the process data. And you see I now have that process data, chronic disease data, in my data model. I no longer need the stratification category column. You remember we used that in Prep Builder to get only data that concerned the entire population, not stratified by gender or by race and ethnicity. And since I want to keep my data model as uncluttered as possible, I'm going to hide this this column. So I no longer see it when I start building visualizations and so on. We're now going to add the economic data. So add the economic data is stored as an Excel file. So Excel processed economic data. We add it. And as you see, eventually we will get a number of additional sheets on the left, corresponding to the 5 years that we have economic data for. Now, we now need to link the economic data to the chronic disease process data. And as you know, as of mid-2020, Tableau supports two different methods of linking data sheets, namely joins and relationships. Joins are essentially connections between the physical tables in the data model, and we use them in the car example. The drawback of joins is that they force you to decide what type of relationship you want between the tables and what to do when one table in the join has a value that is not matched by a value in the joined table. When you use joins, the separate tables are essentially denormalized, as we saw in the car sales example. So Tableau introduced relationships between tables in 2020, and they are essentially logical connections between the tables in the data model. And Tableau recommends them as they are more flexible. When you create a visualization involving multiple tables, Tableau will calculate the appropriate join operation and pull data only from the data sheets that are needed for the visualization. Moreover, you can inspect and manage the tables independently, as we shall see when we create the first visualization on the next page. So, for this example, we will use relationships. So I'm going to drag the 2014 table into the pane at the top. And you see that Tableau generates a warning because it doesn't know how to link the two tables. Well, I know that location description in a chronic disease is the name of a state, and that name in 2014 data is the name of a state as well. So I linked them on those two fields. I do the same with the 2015 data. Again, location description to name. The 2016 data. Location description to name. The 2017 data. Location description to name. And the 2018 data. So I now have all of the tables that I want in my data source linked. But there is some tidying up I want to do beforehand, before I start creating visualizations. First, let's save this as a, before we forget, as let's call it module 3 example. And since I want the data in the workbook, I'm going to store it as a Tableau packaged workbook. Now, there's a number of things that I may want to change. So if you look, for example, at, and I'm looking at the 2018 data here, what I get here is a fairly complicated name, namely Family Income 2018 Economic Data. I want to change that to something like, so look at it again, mean family income, and then between brackets 2018 economic data. I want to change that to something like 2018 mean family income. Now, I can of course do that by going here and then doing rename, but there is a smarter way of doing it. I'm going to simply go to the Manage Metadata view here. And now I can change all the columns as I want. 2018 unemployment rate. I can also just double click on it. 2018 median family income, and so on. And obviously I'm going to do that for all of the sheets and for all of the fields in the sheets. The only thing I can't change is the name that I use to link the various sheets to the chronic disease processes. So I'm going to leave that one alone. If you go to the relevant page in Canvas, you will find a Tableau packaged workbook that has all the changes made to it.